Educational Library. I am Miss A, and I'm so glad you guys are here with me today. So happy February! Yay! It's a month full of love and friendship, and I am so excited to share it with you. So, guess what today is? It is Groundhog's Day! This is George, the groundhog. George, would you like to say hello to everyone? You would? Hello, everybody! That was a great introduction, George. So, George, what do you hide in and hibernate in during the cold months? Your den. Yes. Oh, well, George is coming to say hello again through his den. And so we hope that, George, he'll either see his shadow tomorrow or he will not see his shadow. So you guys will have to tune in and see if George will see his shadow. George, we have a couple great books today that talk about groundhogs or woodchucks. That's another name for groundhogs. Did you know that? You did? Well, of course you did. You're a groundhog. So let's get into our stories today, guys. Our first book is Who Will See Their Shadows This Year by Jerry Pelota. It is February 2nd, and the animals, they're tired of winter. Are you tired of winter? If a groundhog casts a shadow, it means 6 more weeks of winter. But why should the groundhog always be so famous? What about us? Let me try my shadow, says the chicken. Oops. It causes a rainstorm. So the chicken's shadow causes a rainstorm. Well, the polar bear, he tries his shadow. Oh my, it's a huge shadow and it causes a blizzard. So now the camel is going to try. Oh, its shadow starts a sandstorm. So of course the dog shows its shadow. What do you think the dog shadow is going to do? Bow wow! It gets really foggy. Oh, up comes the pig, and he does his shadow. Will it work? It's a hurricane! When the buffalo shows its shadow, it starts to sleet outside. The animals are getting very frustrated. How can we bring spring? Oh, what about Panda's shadow? I'm sure Panda's shadow will work. What do you guys think? Let's find out. Ping, ping, ping. Oh no, it starts to hail. Oh, let's try Koala's shadow. Gale force winds, whoa! But still no spring. Maybe the butterfly's shadow will work. Surely the butterfly shadow will work. Oh my, it gets hot and sweaty and muggy. The ring-tailed lemur swings in to show his shadow. Oh, it gets misty like in the rainforest. A peacock shadow might just bring spring. Surely it will. Wow, it's a tornado. The noise awakens the groundhog. Look, the groundhog has no shadow. And guess what? It's springtime. cheer. Hooray! The end. Oh, that was so good. All those silly animals, they tried to cast their own shadow, but it didn't work. Let's see what our next book is. Groundhog's Runaway Shadow by David Berzecki. The only thing that could keep up with little Phil Groundhog was his shadow, no matter how fast he ran, or how high he jumped. His shadow followed his every move. Whether he laughed or cried, his shadow was always right beside him, even when Phil felt really small. His shadow could make him feel bigger. But everyone grows up, even groundhogs and their shadows. Grown-up groundhogs are expected to act a certain way, but Phil's shadow, it had other plans. Phil's idea of the perfect vacation was taking the bus to the local beach. Shadow dreamed of visiting faraway places, and Phil loved scary movies. Shadow, not so much. Phil enjoyed eating dandelions, clovers, and tree bark. Shadow craved something spicy like tacos. Phil liked to be on time. Shadow liked to stop and smell the roses. At first, Phil found Shadow's behavior amusing, but a little off-key. Phil's friends found it amazing and a little gross. But soon it got annoying and then downright embarrassing. Why can't you be like the other shadows? Phil had had enough. I wish you would just go away, said Phil. Oh my, Shadow was crushed. He got angry. But then he thought about it. Phil said he should go away, and he had always wanted to travel. So that night, what do you guys think is going to happen to Phil's shadow? Let's find out. And the next morning, and a couple of days later, and into the following week, that's exactly what he did. Shadow left. Back at home, Phil tried everything to find a shadow. Oh, Shadow, where are you? He posted signs, he used the newspaper. Groundhog seeks Shadow. Then he saw Shadow making the news. Without him! Suddenly, Phil's life seemed pretty dull. He longed to be exploring with his shadow. Halfway around the world, Shadow realized something was missing. He had no one to share his adventures with. Do you think that they're both getting pretty lonely? I would get pretty lonely too. For the thought of searching for Shadow scared Phil silly. He'd have to travel far and wide. But the next morning, and a couple of days later, and into the following week, that's exactly what Phil did. He searched, and he searched, and he searched some more. Finally, when he could search no longer, he had an idea. He began to play, and when he did, he heard someone gently accompanying him. Who do you guys think it is? The two friends played together, this time in perfect harmony. And the next morning, and a couple of days later, and forever after, it's exactly what they did. Well, except sometimes on February 2nd. Shadow, where are you? The end. That one was pretty good, guys. Oh, let's go on to our last book today. This one is called Groundhog Day by Anne Marie Pace and illustrated by Christopher Denise. Valentine's Day was only 2 weeks away, and Moose was planning a grand party. You need Valentine's balloons, said Squirrel, and Valentine's Day cards, said Bunny. And don't forget the Valentine hugs, pointed out Porcupine. Everyone has to come to my party, said Moose. Uh-oh, Bunny said. That's a problem. What's a problem? Moose asked. Tomorrow is Groundhog's Day, Bunny said. If Groundhog sees a shadow, he'll go back into his hole for 6 more weeks, and he won't be able to wake on February 14th. Ah, good point, Moose said. If we stop him from seeing a shadow, then he can come to my party. Ha ha, I've got it, said Squirrel. I'll sneak into his hole and change his calendar so he won't know it's February 2nd. Your chattering will wake him up, said Porcupine. I'll blindfold him when he comes out. Oh, your quills are gonna poke him in the eye, said Bunny. I'll put up a tent over his hole. Oh, he'll know he's not outside, Moose said. I'll sit on his hole so he can't come out at all. Oh my. Do you guys think these plans are gonna work? Calendar, Moose, blindfold, Moose, tent, Moose, bellowed Moose. The animals bickered all night long. They didn't notice the black sky turning gray. They didn't notice the pink light of morning creeping over the hills, and they didn't notice Groundhog's nose twitching at the entrance of his hole. Until it was too late. Groundhog woke up, didn't he? The animals watched helplessly as Groundhog dove back into his hole. Wait! Moose thundered. Groundhog's muffled voice barely reached the surface. I need to stay down here. There are shadows all over the place up there. Moose was very puzzled. Groundhog, are you afraid? Is that why you go back in your hole? Well, you could say that, Groundhog called. I didn't realize Groundhog was afraid of a shadow, said Squirrel. Me neither, said Porcupine. Shadows aren't scary, said Bunny. They are scary to groundhogs, Moose said. The animals sat quietly thinking. Hey, Groundhog, Moose said finally. What if we showed you just how awesome shadows are? I'll show you the ways leaves blowing in the wind make when shadows that dance. And I'll show you how to draw a silhouette, said Benny. And I'll show you how clouds cast shadows on the hills, said Squirrel. I want to show Groundhog my shadow puppet, said Porcupine. Dancing shadows, said Moose. Cloud shadows, said Squirrel. Silhouettes, Bunny said. Shadow puppets, said Porcupine. Wait, said Groundhog. He eased out of his hole. Can't we do all of them? They all sound really fun. The animals spent the day showing Groundhog all the amazing shadows they could discover and create. And they were all fun, especially Porcupine's shadow puppets. It's a comb. No, it's a feather. It's a buzzsaw. It's sunshine. Finally, late that night. Oh, what a wonderful day, Groundhog said. But I really do have to go back into my hole now, he shivered. 6 more weeks of winter, you know. Oh, man. But wait, you're not afraid of shadows anymore, Moose protested. Now you don't have to miss my Valentine's Day party. I may not be afraid, Groundhog said, but it's cold up here. But there aren't any balloons in your hole, said Squirrel, or Valentine's Day cards, or Valentine's Day hugs, Porcupine said. Would you want a porcupine to hug you? I know. Nope, but my hole is nice and warm, said Groundhog. He looked up at his disappointed friends. We can at least have hugs before I go. Ground hugs all around with a special Groundhog Day nose kiss for you, Porcupine. That works for me. Happy Groundhog Day, said Porcupine. Six weeks later, Groundhog emerged from his den just in time to don a green hat. Let's have a St. Patrick's Day party, he hollered. We're all here. All but Bunny, Squirrel reminded Groundhog. Where's Bunny at? Groundhog said. Where do you guys think Bunny's at? Oh, you know Bunny, Moose said. He's always holed up this time of year. What's he doing? He's getting ready for Easter. You're right. The end. Oh, that was a cute book. So I hope you guys have fun today celebrating Groundhog's Day. And I hope to see you guys next week.